Hello everyone, the sound of neighing in the background, and we are back in the Russian Empire for Napoleon Total War. And I was just thinking, makes me a sad panda that you can't play the music in this game. It really does. Because some of the music in this game is so nice, so chilled, so relaxed. And it's just a crying shame. I mean, I can understand the aspects of, things like copyright and things of that nature. You don't want people to abuse that copyright. But, I don't know. It just seems to be that the licenses that they get for the games doesn't cover broadcasting it on YouTube. And I feel like having a word with developers about that and saying, what can you do to help us play the music? I mean, think about, playing music in Battlefront. I mean, the Star Wars music is going to get a copyright hit almost every time, but it's still a key part of the Star Wars experience, Just one of those things. Anyway, random waffle. So, there's a gentleman there. There's great estates, which we could improve. Now, it's a clearance, which gives us 200, and a great estate will give us 400, but it will take down some of the happiness from the industrialisation, but it will increase. So it'll double the amount of money that we're getting, and I mean, let's face it, the money's okay. Now, we are obviously still over here. If I remember rightly, we're still holding Bavaria. But what we've done with Bavaria, we've emptied it of troops. Because we really wanted to get the army from Bavaria back here, so that we can mop up the sections of the Ottoman Empire. Now, you can see here are one of our towns that we're in the process of building up. We've got a guy there, basically to stop anybody sort of making an approach onto that particular area. We've got this area over here. We should really put another army over there. But we are getting additional armies down in that direction, and we are repairing the damage that we kind of did to that spot. Which is, yeah, kind of ironic, really, when you think about it, but never mind. We have a spy, and let's just check, because I think we already have a spy. No, we don't have a spy yet down there. So what I think we'll do is if we move this gentleman to here, and then this gentleman down here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to move this wonderful spy gentleman down to these areas. So that's an intellectual centre. That'll be helpful for a college. Improve that. So I think really that Istanbul here needs to be our focus. So what we'll do, we'll send our wonderful Russian spy gentleman down to the region capital. And that will give us somewhere to create boats that we can then send through the Mediterranean and start maybe getting some more trade in these areas and sort of around those areas. So we'll obviously be able to move some trade ships down that way, which will be a helpful thing for us. We don't really want to build up a navy until we've got the financial wherewithal to actually be able to support a decent navy, because we want to be able to have a good navy, because especially when we start to go down towards the likes of Spain and France, then we want to be able to get in there. Now, obviously, this spot over here, you can see here that Gibraltar is owned by the Spaniards, which is good. So it means that we could potentially have a landing spot there. We've also got landing spots here. It's a trading port, but it could give us a good route to get into Spain. And there's a few other things on the way. I mean, the Balearic Isles here, in Palma. So, we got plenty of options. And you've got this here, Corsica, as well. So it could be that we just end up leaving France with just Corsica, which would be somewhat ironic, but we want to ignore the Italian states for the time being, I think, and really focus on the ones that are the biggest threat, which would be Spain and France. and worry about everybody else later on. So, here is one of our armies. You can see they're making their way down here so that they can support this gentleman, who will be then moving down with that army towards Istanbul. So we'll get a double army down there. And let's just see what else we can do, because obviously there's a drill school. Now if we build a drill school, we can get Uhlans, Hussars, Musketeers, obviously Jaegers, which would be nice, mounted rifles, and Cossack cavalry. Now that would be nice, but that is cost-wise 3,000. Now if we look at this, how much are we getting? We might be able to do that, which would be rather nice, because then this would be our central sort of recruiting area for sending troops down in that general direction. Now you can see we got a few musketeers here. We could probably do with getting another general at some point, giving us a third army that we can then use to move down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting troops into here to make sure that that value doesn't go down too much. So I think what we need to do is let's recruit. Let's see, what have we got here? So there's a Lancer cavalry, there's Uhlans, which are obviously a little bit better, and we can do Jaegers as well, which is good. So what I think we're going to do is, I want to get a few Uhlans in there. So let's get some, let's get an Uhlan in there, make use of that money, and then we'll end the turn there, I think. Now, once we've overcome... Oh, crikey. The French are getting a little bit keen, aren't they? Once we've overcome the Ottoman Empire, then we can start focusing on the central area, maybe. I don't know yet. I'm still sort of debating what's the best way to go. Whether or not I sort of focus through the centre for the Swiss so that I can then attack the French from two directions, or whether or not I get my focus down to Spain and start taking Spain off them as quickly as possible. Now, my only concern also is the size of Austria. That is a matter of concern. Oh, classical economics. Excellent. We're now doing public schooling, which will give us the constructions of courts of justice and 10% of the research rate, which is splendiferous. A rebellion in Bavaria. Well, there's nobody there, so, you know, let them rebel. A good listener, a spy, Dmitry Kolodov. Fantastic. Thank you, Dmitry. Network established. So the network has been established. So we've got another spy there in Sweden. And you can see they've got a massive full stack army. Well, they've got a full stack and a half along with more out there. So that's good. So we know what's going on there. Bavarian are revolting. Those revolting Bavarians. And more recruits over here in Bavaria. As he pauses to cough, as per usual. So we're just building up a little sort of section of troops in this sort of area here. So we're not really worried about too much there. Now, if we just quickly check Bavaria, because I'm pretty sure, yeah, we're exempting them from tax and they're still revolting. Wow, talk about ingratitude. Dear oh dear. And here's our construction report, and you can see that we built a lumber mill, we built a market over here, which is nice. And what else have we done? The cannon foundry, which is in Estonia, up here, so that we can recruit the lovely cannons. Only £6 foot artillery, so we have to improve that. And we built it just back from here, which is another recruitment area as well. And another cannon foundry we've now done in the middle here, so we can obviously build those cannons. And whether or not we could build a cannon foundry down by Tatari, I don't know. Let's have a look. Construction. So, no, at the moment they've only got the ability to build a star fort. So, you know, essentially we can now start building cannons and all those funky good things. So there's Kiev there, which you can build the £6 field artillery, or foot artillery. But, you know, we will need to sort of improve that So Ordnance Factory means that we can then build the 6-pounder and the 6-pounder horse, which will be a good thing, I think. Now, obviously, that's only 1,500. I'm really thinking that that's something I want to do. Because then it will give us the ability to have 6-pound foot, it will give us the ability to have the horse artillery, which means that the horse artillery can be moved very quickly. And that's the kind of maneuverability that I want on my cavalry. That will be very helpful indeed. So, let's just close all that. Now, obviously, we've spent some money on that, and let's just check. See, it's going to be 1920 for the next turn. So the money is slowly dwindling right now. So that's why we've got to be very careful about building up the armies. Now, well, precisely. The reason that guy's there is just to basically guard that entry into Edessa, to make sure that nobody gets ahead of themselves and starts sniffing around in one of my major recruitment areas, because that would be somewhat unfortunate. 50% chance of success rate on infiltrating, that could be dangerous. We'll have to see, but we need that. We need that intelligence. That intelligence is going to be key. Now look at the size of Austria. That's going to make things interesting. We've obviously got Bavaria here, and we've just got a few troops in Bavaria. So let's see, Court of Justice. Nah, I don't want the repression. So we could conceivably build a small star fort there later, but to be honest, I'm not really looking to spend a lot of money. Are those rebels? They are, those rebellious dogs. Another Bavarian revolutionaries, so hopefully the Austrians will deal with them. If we lose that, it's not a big deal because the Austrians can deal with it. So, down here, we've got Belgrade here in the Balkans. So, now whether or not we could send this guy down here, he could potentially take that area off on his way down to taking the rest of the Ottoman Empire. Obviously, we want to get Athens as well. So, let's send him down here. See what the forces look like there. Now, that to me looks like Soddle sources. 2,200 against 6,000. Yeah, we're having that one. And we are going to wipe them out. Mikhail Kutuzov against Koka Halim. Kosa Halim, I guess. And they are inside the town. They didn't decide to sally forth. But all we got to do really is just create a good defensive line and just let them come at us. Really, that's the direction that I think I'm going to try and play this from a battle point of view. Now, obviously one thing I do like looking back at the older Austrian campaign is how much better at battles, he says, he'll probably end up losing this one now, how much better at battles that I've got over the course of time. I mean, I was just terrible at the start. It was just painful to watch. Anyway, Clippity-Clops. Fine Clippity-Clops will go there and we'll unlimber. We'll move them forward. We will have one regiment there and one regiment there to cover them, but they'll move forward to about there so that they can go into square and intercept people beforehand. So, let's make the map bigger. I do like to see what's going on. Now, these guys, they look to be musketeers. Good. Okay, we've got no lights, which is fine. So what we'll do is we'll have this line here. There. I'm pretty sure I selected more than just that. There we go. So these guys here. Get these guys back. Another selection here. which we will put over here. And then a final section we'll put at the rear. We'll put our general there. So we'll basically have a section for the centre and... oh, actually, no, we'll need a section over here, won't we? Yeah, so we're going to have to put a section there so that we've got good coverage. We'll put the cavalry up there. And our other lancers we'll put over the far side a little bit ahead. Now, what have we got here? There's these guys. These guys, I think, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep them there in reserve. And I think we'll go with that. Or did I move my... I may have moved those guys away. Bugger. Ah. Let's move them to there. Get them to run. Move them to there. Get them to run. Get these guys moving up. Let's get these guys stretched out and moved up. And we'll get these guys moving up and sort of moving in on a flank like that, I think. So these guys don't have them in range yet, but they will do soon. So hopefully it'll give these guys time to get into position. So you can see them pegging it as quickly as they can. Charge, gentlemen, charge! There we go. Oh, just go here, please. I don't want you to walk in front of the guns. Put them as that. Run. Put them as square, even though they've got no cavalry. That'll just provide them a little bit of extra defense. And put the other guys here. Yeah, in fact, they're actually too close, aren't they? They need to be sort of there. Right. Let's get these guys moved up. They're continuing to progress well. Those guys are getting into position. So they can go into square now. And these guys can stay in square. So they should protect the artillery. And the arty's engaging these guys. The armed populace. Now I noticed that they're starting to maybe push over to the right side. So we're going to run those guys into position. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch them out so they give maximum coverage. There. Now, whether or not we can get a lucky shot on this fella. Let's see. Now, if we move these guys up a little bit, maybe they can make use of the cover from the trees. Oh, look at that. And then these guys can move in even further. Here we go. There's these guys. We haven't even used the cavalry yet. But to be honest, I don't think we're going to need to. Right, let's get these guys over to here. There we go, so the cannon defences. Get these guys run into position. These guys to run into position. There we go, they're breaking already. Let's get these guys moved up as fast as possible. Look at that, they're breaking massively now. Get the cannons to engage them. So we'll get these guys here to move up even closer if we can. Yeah, they're doing exactly what we wanted. Wonderful, gentlemen. Well done. Get them to run. They can engage those guys. There we go. Should do a number on that lot very quickly. So what we'll do is move these guys up to here. Make sure our boys are doing alright. Another line there. Keep the cannon firing on them. Oh, heavens above, look at that. There we go, the commanding officer is running, which means that could be an opportunity for us to get our cavalry boys in. So let's get them moving up fast. Get those guys hit with artillery as they're facing the guns. Morale is still good on our boys. Yep, morale's good, morale's good. Let's get them in to kill the general. Oh wow, this is brutal. Really brutal. No, over there, don't charge through your own men, you fools. Let's get these guys to just stretch out that way. Go. See, now you can see them spreading out a little bit here. So what we'll need to do is stretch these guys that way. Get them, lads. Butcher them. Get them all stabbed. All looking good. All looking good. So if we can continue and just kill as many as we can. Let's bring these horses across. Oh, come on, guys. Do wonder about the AI sometimes. Come on, just get in there and kill them. Don't know why they keep teleporting around. Let's get the other guys up a little bit further. Yeah, my Ulans are doing their deadly work. But not so deadly that I can kill the bloody commander. I guess these are just anti-horse cavalry as opposed to anti-man cavalry. Which I suppose is part of the problem, maybe, I don't know. Let's get them over there, cantering over there. There we go. Halim is down. And now we can end it. Close victory, my arse. And look at that. How is that a close victory? They lost 2,200. We lost 212. I mean, really. Close victory. Peacefully occupy. Huzzah. And now we've got the Ottoman Empire locked in. So, there we go. Let us repair that. And let's have a look at the infrastructure. That's okay. Army, yes, good. Construction. Let's see how the troops are. 19,7. It's not too bad. We'll leave it like that for the time being. It's pretty mixed. So we'll leave it like that. But that is excellent news. And now means that we can start moving further in. I mean, once our army's replenished sometimes, or at some point, we could conceivably look at sending that army down to deal with Athens, and then essentially finally finish it off with an attack on Istanbul. Which I think would be a good thing. Now, I think, let's see, Bucharest. What recruitment options do we have there? Yeah, so the Hussars. Let's see. Scouting ahead of an army, so yeah, that's always helpful. Okay, so let's have a look. Over here in in Odessa, in Little Tatari, I think we need to get some more Jaegers. But we can only get one, because we don't have enough money. Okay, that'll do for now. Now, these guys here still remain in place. Good. And this gentleman here, well, precisely, continues his march down to Istanbul. And what will be the inevitable? Well, precisely, the event... Oh, no, he needs to be back here, doesn't he? Silly me. To make sure that he replenishes those troops. There we go. So... it's only a matter of time before that falls, and that falls, and then we can then maybe work towards getting Italy on the way past to give us some routes up into France, but I'm more inclined to think go for Spain. Let Austria deal with whatever's there, because right now, let's have a look at our thing here. See, the Austrian Empire is extremely friendly with us. And let's have a look at our minor nations. Have we got any more in here that we can trade with? No. We're literally trading with... Oh, correction. Request a trade agreement. Good. We now have a trade agreement with Sweden. So they will become friendlier with us as well, which is good news. The Swiss Confederation, right smack bang in the centre, they're at war with us, which is fine. The Kingdom of Italy, also at war. The Duchy of Hudenberg, whoever. We're at gold, yeah. Let's open, actually, cancel that. Who are they? See, they're at war with the Prussians and us, so to be honest, there's no point. They're a minor nation. It's really about keeping, so there's the French Empire, Napoleon, and the Kingdom of Spain, which is Napoleon's brother, which was a point made out to me by a eagle-eyed viewer. Thank you for that. I had completely forgotten. And you can see there, United Kingdom is very friendly. So really what we need to do is we need to capture all of Europe, but we need to do it in such a way that we do not piss too many people off. So I think literally taking that and then that, while meanwhile keeping the Prussians at bay. You can see up there Hanover has been taken. So right now, see, Berlin is okay, but see, there's Hanover there, and there's the Oldenburg. So the French and the Prussians can continue to deal with each other. Austria will act as a great buffer between our lands and the French. Meanwhile, we will sneak down to places like here and maybe possibly make an attack into Gibraltar. And then what we can do is then use Gibraltar as a choke point so that we can block any ships coming through, put a big navy here, intercept any, put some trade ships around, and then essentially we will be in a position to command the Mediterranean, which will be a helpful thing. And then we can, send some navies around, blockade certain areas, deal with any problematical navies that sort of come. And the only drawback is we won't be able to block it off completely, because that will piss off the Brits and will probably mean that they will end up breaking their alliance with us. So, keep a sort of ship there maybe so they can still get through. But any enemy ships that decide to try and come through, we can deal with. And look at these trade areas here. So they're probably under the control of Spain. So if we were to then take those, they're at peace with Portugal. Okay, so if we were to start taking these, then we've got plenty of trade areas that we could then take over from Spain and start using that to bolster our economy as we start to push forward with larger armies. I mean, you just got to look at all the trading slots in this area, but obviously there's going to be problems against... Oh, and that's my doorbell. So I think that's where we're going to end the episode. Thanks for watching.